and welcome to the Cultivating Calmness Podcast. It is that season. Yeah. Flu season, right? No. Wrong. It's not flu season. It is what I call sugar overload season. I don't know if you've heard it. I don't know if you've seen it, but we are days away from the sugariest of sugar holidays of the year. That's right, Halloween, where all of your kids and all of your friends and family are going to be given candy out the wazoo. And your kids are going to be eating it. You may be taking part in that too. And believe you me, I used to be one of those people, and now I am not. There are certain candies and certain treats that I still really enjoy, but most of the candies now, I can't tolerate them or eat a lot of them. But we are heading into what some of us holistic practitioners like to call sugar season. We have Halloween, which is a candy holiday, followed by Thanksgiving, which is like a pie holiday and like stuffing and food, breads and things like that, followed by I'll say like a treats and dessert holiday, all the Christmas cookies and, things of that nature, followed by an alcohol holiday, New Year's Eve. And then we have a little bit of a gap. And then we have Valentine's Day, another candy, chocolate holiday, maybe some alcohol sprinkled in there too. So we've got several holidays. And other ones mixed in there that I didn't mention that are focused around unhealthy foods, right? And those are really going to affect your immune system. So we say that, you're exposed to more germs, you're inside, you don't get sunlight. All of those things are true. Yes, we're inside more. So we're not getting any sunlight. There is less sun. I'm in Ohio, so the sun, feels like it disappears from around November all the way till like March or so, depending. And even when it is out, we may be bundled up. So the only part of us that is exposed to the sky is like our face and our hands. That's not a lot of exposure for our skin to absorb that much needed vitamin D. So those things are true. However, we then tend to take in a lot of excess sugar, which then depletes our immune system. Now, I don't know the exact numbers here. So I'm just going to make them up, but you can look them up for certain. And I read this somewhere, so I don't have the reference for you right now. But when you, let's say you take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day. But if you eat sugar, right, let's say you have 20 grams of sugar, right, you're going to need even more vitamin C to make up for that sugar, because they will cancel each other out. So when you're sick and you're eating like popsicles and ice cream and drinking the, ginger ale or sodas, things like that, you're taking in a lot of sugar. And yes, it may make you feel better because you're not feeling well, and like the ginger ale like kind of coats your throat and that feels good. There's also like 15 grams of sugar in that can of soda. And so any vitamins you may be taking during that time are going to be counteracted by the sugar that you're intaking. Okay, so something important for you to think about as you're heading into this, these next several months that are going to be filled with lots of treats. Yes, it's hard to resist, but what are you doing to help your body cope with and recuperate from all of that excess that you will be taking in? So like, I'm not making any doctor's recommendations. It's definitely something for you to look into yourself. But if you're going to go to a party, and you're going to be eating a lot of sugar, drinking a lot of alcohol, maybe think about what you need to do to prepare for that, or what you're going to do following that to kind of help your immune system kind of boost back up, because you're going to be kind of setting it behind by taking part in all of that, or deciding ahead of time, like that you're going to limit yourself. I've started to limit sugar, and believe me, I am not an expert, and I have my vices, and I have things I don't do well with, and it's hard. But there have been seasons where going into the holidays, I had made a choice that I was going to, one year I decided I wasn't going to eat anything that had added sugar. So that meant no cakes, no pies, no cookies, no anything like that. So if it had like natural sugar in it, I would have some. So then I was trying to find alternative sugars, so like allulose or monk fruit, stevia, things that weren't going to spike your blood sugar. So unfortunately, things like honey and syrup, even the like fake sugars, the Splendas and the 𝗖𝗂𝗹𝘁𝗃 and things like that, they're supposed to be better for you. They still spike your blood sugar. So that's still going to cause problems for you. Diet sodas, still not good for you. They're still going to do things to your system that's not healthy. It's just going to do it in a different way. So that's just something to be aware of. So maybe if you are somebody who likes to make cookies, you maybe see if you can use allulose or birch. What's it called? The name's not coming to me. But there's another type of sugar that is going to stimulate or not stimulate your trigger your glucose as much as other things like honey and like maple syrup. Even those things are natural and and better for you than definitely better for you than high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar. They're still going to have an effect on your blood sugar in your system, and they're going to cause inflammation and that domino effect. So, thinking about maybe ahead of time, like what you're willing to have, you're going to a party, there's going to be treats and sweets, maybe thinking about like, okay, I will have one treat. Decide what that treat is. When you walk in the door and you eye everything, like, okay, I'm only going to allow myself to have one. What is the one thing I'm going to have while I'm here? Instead of like, oh my gosh, look at all the things. I want one of those and one of those and one of those and one of those. I'm going to fill my plate with all the sweets because, oh my gosh, I love them. You may be setting yourself up for failure. And then sure enough, in the next week or so, you're going to, be sick. And it's not necessarily because you were with somebody who had a cold. That could be the case. Somebody who was at the party who had a cold, it took you a few days to get it. It's also possible that you would have been more likely to fight off the cold if you hadn't had all that sugar while you were there. Does that make sense? Like, we're not always going to be able to avoid colds. Like, that's just part of life. Our immune system is going to learn how to fight things off. And it's being able to pay attention to your body too. So recently, me and my family got sick, and I was like hoping and praying that I wouldn't get it. And, it started with my husband and my son, and they both had stuff. And then I was fine. And then like one night I was like, ooh, I feel that twinge. I feel that twinge of a sore throat. So what did I do? I started taking the vitamins. I started drinking the tea. I started trying to help my body get through it. And for me, I felt like I was able to get through it a little easier than maybe they were, because not necessarily because of choices, but because I've learned over time, and it's taken time, that to pay attention to those symptoms in the body. And so when I notice them, rather than just being like, that's nothing, I know that feeling. That's a sign this is going to get worse if I don't do something. And I have experienced the symptom reversal with the right supplements and the right, body support, where I felt it come on. I took a bunch of the vitamins, I did a bunch of the things, and then the next day it was like, I'm fine. I also, this time around, it, was kind of the same way. It took a couple days, but it was, I kept up with it, and I noticed, and I knew when I needed more, when I needed less, because I was paying attention to those symptoms. And then, I'm trying to teach my kids those things too. Don't wait. Don't wait till, 2 days later to tell me, oh, my throat's been hurting for a couple days. Like, girl, I'm not in your body. I don't know when your throat starts hurting. You got to tell me right away. And then I have to kind of inquire, is this like I just woke up and my throat's dry and it hurts and I'm drinking water? Or is it like, ooh, it really hurts. It's been like 20 minutes. I've had my water. I've been up. I've eaten breakfast and, my throat's like really kind of hurting. Like, to me, those are different things. So I will treat them differently. I will respond differently to those symptoms. So I'm trying to teach my kids that. Those were things that I didn't necessarily really learn as a kid, or at least don't remember learning. I learned those things myself as an adult with experience when I started to pay attention and notice those symptoms in myself and started to take action immediately. And you can do the same thing. Pay attention to your body. Notice when you're feeling worn down. Notice when you have that little tingle. Notice when your body feels achy. I had the sore throat, and then I had the the achy, and I just felt tired. So I did certain things to help my body to get through that. And it wasn't terrible. I wasn't laid up in bed all day. I just kind of felt like, ugh, I could be better. Right. But I've definitely been there where it just comes in fast and it comes in hard and you're like down for the count. So sometimes there is no warning sign. Sometimes we just are ignoring the warning signs, and then then we have a battle, because if our sickness or our illness gets too big, then we have a lot to overcome, versus we catch it when it's small. We may be able to overcome that illness. So your doctors may tell you that, once you have it, it's got to run its course. Yes, but you can help your immune system along by providing it what it needs, providing it the nutrients, the supplementation, the food, the water, the energy that your body needs to fight off an illness. So again, not medical advice here, but if you take a daily vitamin, and let's say it has 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, I don't know for certain, but I believe that's like your daily recommended dose. So oftentimes when I talk to friends or family, I'm like, well, they're telling me they're sick. I'm like, well, you need, extra vitamin C. They're like, oh, I've got all the vitamin C I need. I took that daily vitamin. No. Think of it like, like a fire you're trying to put out. Okay. You have a match and you try to put a fire out, right? Like, you don't need much water. You could probably spritz that, even the little spit, it's out and it's not hot anymore. Right. But if you have a brewing, cold, that match is like the 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, right? It'll be okay when you're not sick. When you're sick, it's like that bonfire, right? That's starting to build. Okay, when you do that little spritz of water, it's not going to touch it, right? So that vitamin C is not going to touch that bonfire, that thing that's growing in you. You're going to need more, right? Because it's going to counteract that illness, in my experience. So for me, that's the experience that I've had. And you can look up, there are pages on Facebook, there are resources out there to talk about, vitamin C dosing and how to treat illness with vitamin C. Because you take it throughout the day in certain amounts, and you're going to fight off an illness, because you're going to provide your body what it needs to fight the bad guys, to fight those bad cells that are trying to take over. If you're not providing it what it needs, then your body's going to take over, right? Same with anything else we try to fight off. So keep this in mind as you head into the sugar season, as I call it, and see about what you can do to limit your sugar intake, and see if that has any effect on how sick you get this season. But don't take it from me. Maybe experience it yourself. Give it a try and see what happens. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again next week.